Hello, and a very warm welcome to you both. If you're watching this, it means you've got your JeevanYog report right there with you, which is fantastic. Think of me as your personal guide as we walk through this first part together. We're going to turn this document into a powerful conversation just between you two. This is really the start of a self-learning journey, and honestly, we're so thrilled to be starting it with you. So let's begin. First things first, a moment of real gratitude. This Bandhan report you're holding, it's truly a gift of clarity. It's the product of more than 15 years of dedicated research by Dr. Atul B. Patil and the incredible team at IKSC Knowledge Bridge. They've crafted this amazing tool to help you build a foundation that's not just based on love, but on a really deep mutual understanding of each other. So, here's our roadmap for this little tour. We're going to start with how to actually read your report. Then we'll set your compass with your shared goals. After that, we'll dig into how you each behave, look into what we call your compatibility mirror, explore 5 key chapters of your life together, and we'll wrap up with a little gift to get you talking. The best part? This follows the first 16 pages of your report perfectly, so it's super easy to follow along. All right, let's dive into section 1. Welcome to your blueprint. You know, just like with any map, the very first step is learning how to read the legend. This section is your key to unlocking all the amazing insights that are waiting for you inside. Okay, this next part is probably the single most important key to your entire report, so please have it open with you. You're going to notice 2 different fonts as you read. The text in Arial, well, that's the background knowledge, the science behind the report. That's the same for everyone. But the text in Times New Roman, that is all about you. Let me say that again, because it is the absolute core of this experience. Wherever you see Times New Roman, that is your personal data, your unique results. That is your story. This is what takes the report from just being a document and turns it into your personal blueprint. Okay, let's all turn to page 1 in the report. You should see a set of bar charts comparing your scores right there. Take a good look. See those places where the bars are different lengths? Those gaps. They aren't problems, not at all. Think of them as the starting points, the beautiful, interesting places where your journey of discovery and conversation really begins. Great, let's move on. You know, every good journey needs a compass, right? A true north to guide you when things might feel a little complicated. And that is exactly what this next section is all about. So could you please flip over to page 3? First, just take a second to make sure all your personal details at the top are correct. Now, look down towards the bottom of the page. You'll find 3 statements under Our Goals Together. This is your compass. Seriously, if you ever feel a bit lost as you're going through this, just come right back to this page. These goals are your anchor. Now, we get to the really interesting stuff, behavior. This next section, which covers pages 4 through 7, is all about the how. How you act, how you react, and how you adapt. We're going to be looking at what's called your DISC profiles. On pages 4 and 5, you'll find your natural style. This is your core. It's your gut instinct. The bar charts show your scores for D, which stands for drive. That's how you tackle problems. I is for influence, how you persuade and connect with people. S is for steadiness, your need for pace and consistency. And C is for conscientiousness, how you feel about rules and structure. This is who you are when you're most comfortable, when no one's watching. Now look at those circles, the DISC wheels, on those same pages. Find your dot and find your partner's dot. Are they in the same area? That just means you share similar instincts. But what if they're in different places? That's great. It doesn't signal conflict, it points to complementary strengths. Think of it this way. One of you might be the accelerator and the other the brakes. You need both to get anywhere safely. Okay, let's flip forward to pages 6 and 7. Here, you're going to see your adapted style. This is your public self, or how you tend to behave when you feel a bit of pressure to fit in. You know, maybe at work or with extended family. It's the version of you that adjusts to the world around you. Now, just take a moment here. I want you to look back and forth between your natural style chart back on page 4 and your adapted style chart on page 6. And look at your partners too. Is there a big difference between the two? A small one? Just notice that gap. This can be a really powerful moment of self-reflection. So that difference has a name. It's called the energy gap. If you see a really large gap, it might suggest you're spending a whole lot of energy trying to be someone you're not, to modify your natural behavior. It's that feeling of being on all day and then coming home totally exhausted. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just a measure of the energy you're putting out there. And that's incredibly valuable for you to know and for your partner to understand. All right, moving on, we now come to one of the most powerful visuals in this entire report. If the last section was all about you and me, this section is all about us. I want you to think of it as your compatibility mirror. Go ahead and turn to pages 9 and 10 and look at that chart in the middle, the one that kind of looks like a butterfly. This is your mirror. See that line right down the center? Where the bars for both of you are short and really close to that line, it shows natural alignment. And where the bars stretch farther apart, it simply shines a light on areas where some important and probably wonderful conversations are waiting for you. Remember, this is not a test. It is not a score. The goal here is awareness, not judgment. Okay, now that we've seen that big picture snapshot, let's break it down a bit. The next 5 pages are like 5 chapters in the story that you two are writing together, and each one focuses on a really crucial part of your shared life. Let's just walk through these 5 chapters. On page 11, we explore emotional compatibility, how you express feelings and handle disagreements. Then, page 12 looks at your practical lifestyle fit. We're talking careers, money, daily habits. Next, page 13 is all about your cultural and social alignment, family values, faith, friends. Page 14 dives into your big picture vision for the future and family, including things like children. And finally, page 15 gets into your individual needs, like personal space and boundaries. Each page is a whole chapter worth exploring together. And that brings us to our final section for today. Now, this isn't more data. This is a gift. It's a tool designed specifically to help you take all this new awareness and turn it into real, genuine connection. Please turn to the last page for today, page 16. This page really is a conversation gift from Dr. Patel and IKSC. All you have to do is find your primary DISC style, your D, I, S, or C, from the charts we looked at earlier. You'll see questions tailored just for that style. The invitation is simple. Each of you just choose 3 questions that feel most relevant to you right now. Then find a quiet evening, make a cup of tea, and ask each other. There's no pressure for the right answers, only to be curious about each other. And that brings us to the end of our journey through the first 16 pages. You should now have a much, much clearer picture of how you both behave instinctively and how you adapt to the world around you. You've seen where you just naturally click and where your unique differences can actually become your greatest strengths as a couple. But you know, how is only half the story. The really deep question is why. Why do you prioritize what you do? What are those core motivators driving our choices in life and in love? Well, that is exactly what we're going to explore together in part 2. Thank you so much for taking this first step with us. This journey to understanding is truly one of the greatest investments you can make in your relationship. For any more information, you can always visit the IKSC website or give them a call. We can't wait to see you for part 2. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're here for part 2 of your JeevanYog Report Explainer. In our first session, we looked at the how you act and react. Today, we're going to go so much deeper. So grab your report, get comfortable, and let's find out why you connect the way you do. So think of it this way. Part 1 was like looking at the tip of the iceberg, your visible behaviors, the stuff everyone sees. But now we're going below the surface, into the deep water to explore the why. We're about to uncover those powerful, hidden drivers that really shape everything. Your choices, your dreams, and your priorities in life and in love. All right, let's get right to it. If you can, open up your report to page 17. We're going to start with the absolute foundation of your why, these 7 core motivators that are humming away inside each of you. So you'll see this term Purpose Readiness Index, or PRI. Here's what's so important to get. This has nothing to do with your personality. Not at all. This is all about your values. It's a measure of what you truly believe is important, what you find meaningful deep down. Honestly, it's like the hidden blueprint of your motivation. And these 7 motivators, they're like the language your values speak. Think of them as your internal compasses. You've got aesthetic, which is all about harmony and beauty. Then there's economic, which is focused on practical results and returns. Individualistic is that drive for independence. Political seeks influence. Altruistic is that deep need to help people. Regulatory loves rules and structure. And finally, theoretical is all about that endless search for knowledge. Your report shows which of these compasses points north for you. Okay, take a look at your report right now on page 17. You're going to see 2 bar charts side by side. The male partner is in blue, the female partner is in red. And here's the key. Wherever your bars are about the same height, it means you're naturally on the same page. You just get each other in that area. And where the heights are different, well, that just means your perspectives are different. And that's exactly what we're going to dig into next.
So, what do we do when those bars are different heights? First thing, don't see them as problems. They're just information, really valuable information. So, if you flip over to page 20, you'll find this amazing map that shows exactly where your worlds connect and where there's a little bit of space between them. And as you look at that page, I really want you to keep this quote in mind. It's right there in your report and it says it all, doesn't it? Differences are not a warning sign. They are actually an invitation to learn, to grow, and to build an even stronger, more understanding relationship. So on page 20, you'll find the friction chart. It basically mirrors the gaps between your scores for each of those 7 motivators. The rule is simple. The wider the bar, the bigger the difference in how you see that part of life. And I need you to hear this loud and clear. This is not a scorecard of what's wrong. It's a map. It's a map that points you directly to the conversations that will matter the most. For those areas where your bars are the widest, I want to give you a single question that can change everything. I'd even encourage you to pause this and try it. Just look at your partner with real curiosity and ask, help me understand why this matters so much to you. You'd be amazed how that one little question can melt away judgment and just build a bridge of understanding.
Okay, so we've found your core drivers, and we've pinpointed where the gaps are. Now let's see how this stuff actually plays out in real life. This next section, running from page 21 all the way to 33, is where it gets super practical.
So these first few pages are really personal. They dive into your own inner world, even looking at tensions between your own top values. And a pro tip, as you're reading, really pay attention to the text written in Times New Roman. That was written specifically about you. It reveals what you privately, subconsciously need from a relationship to feel truly happy. And sometimes that's different from what we think we want. Now, let's have some fun. Turn to page 27 for your adjective portrait. You'll see this grid of words, and some will be highlighted just for you. Read your words out loud. Do they feel right? Do they ring true? Then share them with your partner. Ask them, hey, does this actually sound like me to you? It's such a cool way to see if your inner self matches how you come across to the person who knows you best. All right, from page 28 onward, this report gets laser focused. It shows how your unique blend of motivators impacts 13, you heard that right, 13 critical areas of your life together. We're talking about the big stuff, your mindset about marriage, finances, how you handle conflict, love and intimacy, stress, it's all in there. And here's the simple rule of thumb for these next 13 charts. When you see the bars are close together, celebrate. That's an area of natural harmony for you two. But where you see the bars are far apart, that's your cue. Those are your golden opportunities for the most valuable conversations you can have before you get married, instead of trying to figure it out after. It's your chance to be proactive. Okay, so you have all this amazing, powerful data about your relationship. The big question is, what do you actually do with it? Well, the final page in this section, page 34, is your action plan. It's an invitation to turn all this insight into real, meaningful conversation. All right, here's your homework, and trust me, it's a gift. I want you to go back to that friction chart on page 20. Find your 2 or 3 biggest differences, the widest bars. Got them? Okay, now flip to page 34. You'll find a whole bank of questions designed for each specific motivator. Your mission for this week is to pick a few questions from your biggest gap areas and just explore them together. And please remember the spirit of this whole thing. Like the report says, these aren't tests. There are no right or wrong answers. They're simply invitations to see the world through your partner's eyes for a moment, to build empathy, and to connect on a level you might not have before. So just take a second and let this sink in. After part 1, you got the how. You understand how you both behave. And now, after this section, you get the why. You understand why you're driven to be that way. You literally have the blueprint of your motivations for yourselves and for your relationship. That is the absolute key to a conscious, connected partnership. And guess what? We're not even done yet. In our final explainer, part 3, we're going to bring it all together. We'll bring your how and your why into the same room. We're going to discover your relationship archetypes, look at 9 key health scores, and pull it all into a final readiness map for your amazing journey ahead. Are you ready to see how all those individual pieces connect to create one beautiful picture? Okay, so let's get right into it. The first 2 parts of this journey, they were all about the how you both behave, and the why, what really drives you. But this final part, this is where it all comes together. We're going to answer 2 massive questions. Who are you, really, as a couple? And how ready are you to start building a life together? This image really says it all, doesn't it? Up until now, we've been looking at 2 unique individuals. But now now we get to see how they come together to create something entirely new. This is the heart of your partnership, the synthesis of everything you've learned so far. First up, let's talk about your shared Antarbaya archetypes. Go ahead and turn to pages 35 and 36 in your report. You can think of this as the absolute core, the very DNA of your relationship's personality. So these archetypes, they're not just some labels. They actually give you a shared language to talk about how you operate as a team. They're like the blueprint for how you're going to lead, create, and build your life side by side. And you'll see there are 4 of them. The authority pioneer, that's all about your combined leadership and direction. The compassionate visionary, that's your shared why, the soul of your relationship. Then there's the custodian of graceful systems. That's how you manage the day-to-day stuff and keep things harmonious. And finally, the analyst of structured beauty, which is all about making sure you make really thoughtful, high-quality decisions together. Okay, now find that bar chart on page 35. You're probably going to see some gaps between your scores, right? And here's the most important thing I want you to hear. Those gaps, they are not failures. A little gap, that just means you've got some natural teamwork going on there. A bigger gap, that just means you have different and complementary ways of leading. And honestly, learning to appreciate those unique strengths, well, that's the real magic of a great marriage. Now take a look at the radar chart. See that unique shape it makes? That's you. That's your unique signature, a snapshot of your combined power as a unit. And hey, don't just skip over those conversation starters at the bottom. The Bondin system literally wrote those questions just for the 2 of you, based on your personalities. Use them. All right, let's flip over to pages 37 to 39. I want you to think of this next section as your relationship's dashboard. It's like we're checking 9 vital signs to see the health and the rhythm of your connection. It's super simple to read. As you look at the gauges, if you see green, that means you have a strong, solid foundation in that area. It's a clear signal that you're aligned and ready to go. Now, if you see amber, don't panic. This is not an alarm bell. Think of it more like a gentle nudge. The report is just saying, hey, this area right here, it would really benefit from a good conversation. It's just an invitation to connect and grow. And what if you see red? First thing, please hear me on this. Red is not a stop sign. It is not a sign of failure. You know what it is? It's a sign that you 2 are courageous enough to be honest. Having that direct talk right now in this area, that is a massive gift you're giving to your future selves. And honestly, this is exactly why the Bandon system was created. To help you see what's invisible now so it doesn't become painful later. And look at how deep this goes. We're talking about everything from your emotional energy exchange to how you navigate conflict, all the way to your alignment on long-term growth and getting crystal clear on your non-negotiables. It's a really comprehensive look at what makes your relationship tick. And now for the big one. Turn to page 40. This next score basically takes everything we've just looked at and boils it down into a single number that reflects your overall readiness to take this huge step together. This is your Marriage Readiness Maturity Score, or MRMS. If it's green, you're in a great spot to move forward with confidence. If it's amber, it just means a little more prep will make your foundation that much stronger. And if it's red, it's a wise cue to pause and really talk through some key areas first. But remember the key thing here? Readiness is not about being perfect. It's about being honest and aware. Okay, and finally, let's go to page 41 for the takeaway summary. This is your final alignment map. Think of it as your 1-page actionable roadmap for the conversations that matter most. Here's the simple way to read it. Just look at the score gaps. A gap of 10 or less, that's a natural alignment zone. These are your superpowers as a couple, so celebrate them. A gap between 11 and 25 is a growth opportunity. And a gap over 25, that marks a critical conversation. And again, these aren't problems. They're simply the most important things for you to explore together. Now check out the bottom of page 41. You'll see a reflection action table. I really want to encourage you, maybe even right now, to use it. What's the one conversation this report is really nudging you to have? Pinpoint it, talk about why it's important, and agree on just one small step you can take together. So, we've reached the end of the report, but I really want you to see this as a beginning. This isn't some final grade or verdict, no way. This is your starting line. The starting line for building a really intentional, conscious life together. You know, what you've both just done by going through this, it's really courageous. Seriously, you chose to seek understanding instead of just assuming things. You chose science instead of just guesswork. And I really want this to sink in. Not a single score in this report is a failure. Every number, every chart, it's just an invitation. An invitation to understand each other on a deeper level and to grow even closer. And for making this whole Bandon journey possible, we just have to give our deepest thanks to IKSC Knowledge Bridge and to Dr. Atul B. Patil. His entire life's work in relationship science is right here, distilled into the wisdom you're holding in your hands. And if you want to take this even further to really bring this report to life, I can't recommend this enough. Book a personal counseling session. It is the absolute best next step you can take. Thank you so much for joining me. We wish you a lifetime of growth, of understanding, and of love. All right, welcome back. Before we jump into this final and I think most powerful part of your JeevanYog report,
Thank you
I just have
both
to say
so
a
much for
huge
your
thank you
time
to
and
IKSC
really
Knowledge
for
Bridge
your
and Dr.
courage
Atul
to
B.
explore
Patil
your
for creating
relationship
such
this
an incredible
deeply.
tool.
And of
So
course,
you've already
our
looked at your
endless
individual
gratitude
behaviors,
goes to
your values,
IKSC
and now
Knowledge
we get to
Bridge
see how it
and
all
Dr.
clicks together
Atul
to
B.
create the
Patel
big
for
picture
creating
of you
such a
as a couple.
life-changing
So
tool.
go
I
ahead,
cannot
get
wait
your
to see
report
you
open,
for part
sit
3.
with your partner, and let's walk through this final chapter together.